Today's talk is going to be about things tattoo apprentices don't usually expect. And it's a little bit of a list. I'm sure I could nitpick things, but I just want to go over some of the main stuff because tattooing is serious business, ladies and gentlemen, and we want to be the best possible tattooers we can. And in order to do that, we really need to take a lot of things into consideration. So one is, say you got your apprenticeship, which I have another video that you could check out all about how to prepare to get an apprenticeship, and it's pretty helpful. Check it out. But say you got your apprenticeship, you went through the hustle and the bustle, and you did your work at home with your portfolio, and you did your research, and you made your emails. Now you're in the apprenticeship, and a lot of younger artists don't realize that there's a lot going on behind the scenes for a tattoo artist. It takes a whole lot of time in the studio and out of the studio. And that's typically why you'll hear really great tattoo artists talk about how tattooing is a way of life and it's not just something you do. Because when you truly love tattooing, or even any career path that you choose, if you truly love it, you kind of get engulfed in it all day long, and your mind, no matter what you're doing, somewhere in there in the background, you're thinking about your next design that you're working on, that you want to work on, or how you're going to find time to work on that design, or clients you are thinking about reaching, or that you have to reach back out to get some work in the books, and what to do with your social media. There's just so much, and it's all tattoo involved. I mean, if you this day and age, if you really want to make something happen, you have to kind of do it all. But doing it without burning out is important, and we'll have a whole nother video about that. But apprentices typically don't expect there to be so much outside of the shop time involved. And that's because what a really good mentor does is teaches you how to steer the vehicle of success. But it's up to you to get the vehicle moving. So the mentor will teach you everything you need to know, teach you tricks and tips, and their goal is to take what they've accumulated over 10, 15, 20 years and try to get you to avoid those same mistakes, because you learn a whole lot in that time period as a tattoo artist, and you make a lot of mistakes, and some of those mistakes aren't as easily identified until you are taught to do something differently, and then you're like, oh, I would have never thought that was my issue. And it could be very tricky, and that's why a lot of tattoo artists get caught up, and there's very slow progress because there's a lot involved. So the mentor teaches you these things, and it's your job to be passionate enough about tattooing and tattoo art form to push yourself to be the best tattoo artist you want to be. So that's why, some people are a little shocked when they start their apprenticeship, and they're like, oh, I have to be at the shop from this many hours a week. But then, my mentor gives me drawings I need to do and other worksheets and such that you need to fill out, and fake emails telling you to design things for people that don't exist, because he just wants you to, or they just want you to get the experience of working with clients. So that's one. Time in and out of the studio. It's a lot of work, folks. And I'll tell you what, it's worth every minute. I absolutely love it. I know a lot of tattoo artists that do. I know a lot of tattoo artists that don't put as much effort into it as they could, and that's their choices, but you could tell the difference between somebody's books and how scheduled out they are by their work ethic and how much they push themselves. So, number 2, a lot of apprentices don't realize that some people are introverts, some people are extroverts, and some people are a little bit in between. And in order to be a successful apprentice and also eventually run a successful brand, which is you, the artist, and be the best possible artist you can, you're going to have to learn to be an extrovert. I personally would consider myself an extrovert in my younger years, but now that I'm in my 40s, I'm definitely more of an introvert. I like my peace, I like my time in front of the canvas, I like being at home with my family. I still run apprenticeships, I still have a lot of clients, but I do like my me time. And it was an easy thing for me in the beginning, but this day and age, with the way social media and everything has changed the way we communicate in our relationships and day-to-day, conversations and such, it could be difficult for people to just kind of mingle. And that's what a lot of tattooing is going out there and talking to people and reaching out in their comments and shooting them random DMs when you see something that you resonate with and saying, hey, I noticed that your dog is a pit bull. I love pit bulls. Pit bulls are great. And all of a sudden you're talking about pit bulls and, they notice you're a tattoo artist and you do some dog portraits, and before you know it, they're inquiring about a dog portrait. It has happened. That's kind of like the magic of running your own business, is you find these ways to kind of integrate yourself into people's lives and give them things that they might not even know they want. Dog tattoo portraits are a beautiful way to commemorate your pet. Some people don't even think about it, and reaching out to people and starting conversations is the first step to getting those clients. When I was younger, it was going out and doing it in person. It was MySpace back in those days, and we didn't really use it for the things we use it for today, or use Facebook for, and Instagram and TikTok and all those. It's much different. So these days, you got to set up some systems, and those systems are going to be how you approach people, how you manage your clients, how do you want them to perceive you, because the energy you bring into the tattoo studio is just, I can't even begin to stress how important it is for so many reasons. For one, you're at the studio with other artists that are there working. They're either paying a percentage or paying a rent, but they're there working. So you need to be able to work with people in close quarters and mind your space, mind your belongings, be respectful to each other, and that takes effort, that takes energy, that takes being social. So it's just another thing that apprentices don't think about, but when they start getting into the apprenticeship, they could get a little bit anxious and not love being around people all the time, or answering questions all the time from the mentor, or just working beside other artists. And it's just day-to-day sociability can be difficult for some people. So I just like to bring that up because I've ran into it in the past few years, and it has stifled people's progress insanely. I've had apprentices quit because it's just too much time, too much pressure for them, too much work. And it is, but I feel like everything is. You know, if you want to be successful at anything, it's going to take a level of discomfort. And how much you could take is really, that's really on you and how you manage your stress and your well-being and self-care and such. But a good mentor and a good shop tries their best to nurture that in the apprentice and really help them learn how to communicate with clients and artists. And obviously there's shop lingo and tattoo industry lingo that you don't know about. All that stuff is important to learn, and it's helpful when the people around you are supportive. So that's part of the first video, and when you're finding a shop. But that's another reason why that's so important. Number 3 of what apprentices don't typically think about is this is a medical procedure. It might not seem like one, the way it's always displayed on social media and portrayed all over the world in so many different ways, but usually not a medical procedure. It's usually not the forefront way it's portrayed. So it is. We are breaking the skin. We are injecting ink into the epidermis, and that is, we got to do it right. We got to watch out for infections. We need to be aware of disease. We need to be aware of so many different things, and it could be a little daunting when you first get into it. Over the years, the repetition of getting your bloodborne pathogens training, and some people go the extra mile, do the first aid, do the CPR. Doesn't hurt, especially in the studio. It's always good to have those things in your toolbox. But it's school. You jump online and you do your courses, and you have to practice that daily. And there's really no room for mistakes. Your health is at risk. Other people's health is at risk. Saying all that, I do feel that a lot of it is common sense, but common sense is not that common, as you will learn as you get older. So that's just a third thing that they typically are a little drawn back by. I don't see it really pushing people out of the industry, but people they come into tattooing because the art is awesome and tattoos are awesome. But learning medical stuff and getting certified for things and that's not really the fun part, but it's one of the most important parts. So definitely something you want to keep in mind, definitely something you want to be prepared for. If you're real smart, you'll do a little bit of research before you even get your apprenticeship, especially depending on what state you're in and what city you're in and what country you're in. They have different rules and regulations. So I think it's super important to do your research, because some places are harder than others to get certified, and you don't want to pour a bunch of energy into something that ultimately you end up not being willing to put your effort into. And to wrap this video up, last but not least, something apprentices don't typically expect is tattooing is hard. The techniques you need to learn to get the different effects you want in your art form is hard work. There's a lot of failure. You're going to have moments when you're super bummed out about what you did that day. And luckily, when you're an apprentice and you're doing it right, people will know you're an apprentice. And that's helpful. But it is hard work emotionally, physically. Takes a lot of brain power, a lot of energy. And it's on the internet and stuff, it's very glorified, and it's a great career. It's great. Tattoos are so much fun. That's why most people, if they get one, they get many. But learning it and doing it correctly is hard work. It takes a lot of time and effort and patience. Patience is huge. People give up really quickly these days. I feel like people were much more patient 20 years ago, but these days, instant gratification is bing bang boom. Everybody wants it right now. And tattooing, you want to do it correctly, you got to take it nice and easy, one step at a time, but it is difficult. So if it's what you want to do and you want to live the life of a tattoo artist that makes their own schedule and has the ability to touch people's lives with their artwork, you need to realize that it's a lot of work. But if you teach, or if you treat it with respect and you put your heart into it, it's an amazing way to spend your days. So that's just a few things that tattoo apprentices don't typically expect. I hope you enjoyed this walk with my dog and conversation, and I hope you have a great day. Feel free to check out my other videos, like or subscribe, because if you don't and you enjoyed this, you might never hear me again. So have a great day. Thanks for coming by.